Tennessee and Kentucky. Tennessee is 16.5-point favorite. This is a blackout game. Okay, now, if you have access to social media, or if you're on Twitter, which I think a lot of y'all watching the show probably are, go check out the creative hype video for what they did for the Tennessee reveal of their dark mode uniforms. I don't want to spoil it. It's sick. Go check it out. College football sickos, make sure to subscribe right here to the On3 YouTube channel. No hot takes, no clickbait, no traffic for traffic's sake, just ball and only ball the way that you want it talked about. Thank you for being subscribed. The Hard Count brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. $5 in lineups when you play. Using code HARDCOUNT gets you $50 in promo funds. Y'all have crushed it using that code. Great way to support the show. Great way to let the people at Prize Picks know that you're dialed in. So we appreciate you using that code, and we appreciate you being subscribed. Back to the prediction. Kentucky now, they're limping into this one. It's not a good deal to limp into Neyland Stadium, 7:45 Eastern, with the SEC network on hand. Just, it's not. Like Tennessee, this place is going to be on fire. And the thing with Tennessee now, they got a bye week, had Alabama before the bye week, and the feel a little bit for me is for Tennessee now, do you have this feeling like, okay, now we go. Like now we've proven to ourselves we're good enough to hang with the top tier in college football, which is what Alabama was when you played them. Are we able to get this thing rolling now? Momentum's a dangerous thing, especially in college football, okay? I'm curious because the question hasn't ever been, does Nico Iamaleava have the physical tools or does the offense have the plays there? Like nobody's questioning Josh Heupel. Nobody should be questioning Nico's physical giftings. The question right now is, can we make it all work together? Kentucky, as much as they've shown on tape, I think the answer should be if it's not this game, when's it happening? All right, Kentucky. Listen, let's just be honest. We value honesty on this show. Vibes are bad. And Kentucky, to be real, they are confusingly bad. I will say this. College football, as we've seen throughout the course of this year, makes no sense. Mark Stoops, good football coach. All right, 2 key ingredients. We'll see what happens, but that's, I think, just the only hope I would cling to if I'm a Kentucky fan. Now, speaking of hope, how would Kentucky find a way to pull off an upset where they are 16.5-point dogs on the road? The bottom line here is you got to get the ball to Barian Brown. Right? Now, I understand Barian Brown hasn't had the year that I think a lot of Kentucky folks expected he would have. Dane Key also has to see a lot of the football, but I don't know who's playing quarterback. You could tempt me into saying Gavin Wimsett's the guy because he has some more mobility. I get that. Brock Vandagriff, if it is about getting the ball to Barian Brown, gives you a better chance on paper at least throwing the football. But listen to this, man. 36 targets on the year for Barian Brown. 23 receptions. Hey, quick question. What are we doing here? What in the world are we thinking not getting our best player the football more frequently? And you could argue and say, well, hey, listen, we have trouble protecting the quarterback. Right now, a sack rate of 9% out there in Lexington. That is, I would say good for. That is bad for. 115th in America. All right? So you say, hey, well, we would get him the football, but we have trouble keeping our quarterback upright. Okay, well, that's where we get a little bit abstract here, baby. A little bit creative. A little bit outside the lines, if you will. Get him the jet sweeps. Get him the bubble screens, the tunnel screens. Find a way to get Barian Brown the football. Because just like I said about Luther Burden last week against Alabama, Barian Brown, to me at least, is the one player that you could put on the other sideline, and Tennessee would say, yeah, we'll take Barian Brown in a heartbeat. Maybe Dane Key's in that discussion. Deion Walker's in that discussion as well for Kentucky. I get it. But, hear me clearly. Barian Brown, if you win this football game, it is because he saw north of 7 touches. All right? And in a perfect world, he's seeing double digit. Dane Key has to get his too. I'm not excusing that. But I just think what Barian Brown is with the football in his hands, you've seen it. Even in the game against Florida where Kentucky's just getting boat raced, Barian Brown runs back a kick for a touchdown. So he's too good to not have a say in this game. And if you're going to pull off the upset, it's got to happen with him and with Dane Key. Because quite frankly, you're not running the football in Tennessee. I know that's always the fun talking point is, okay, well, hey, could they get a push up front? Does the Mark Stoops gritty special show itself in this spot on the road? And my answer is no. Tennessee is allowing 2.3 yards a carry. Y'all, that is good for number 1 in America. So maybe you can find success, situationally, like 2nd and 2, you pick up a first down, great. But that's not going to be something you can lean on against this Tennessee defense. We've seen that to be true. Ask Alabama. They're better up front than Kentucky is, and they only had like 75 yards rushing. So to be clear here, it's got to be through the air. You got to find your matchup you like, and you got to exploit it to the nth degree. Now, the thing with Tennessee offensively here, and the curious thing for Kentucky is like, can they make Nico prove it? And what I mean by that is you saw Nico Iamaleava throughout the course of this year have trouble connecting on those money ball throws. You know what I mean by money ball. Like the deep shot, we drew it up perfectly, we got him, and then you see shades of Joe Milton with the overthrow. And a lot of Tennessee fans are like, oh boy, here we go. Listen, it's his first year being a starting quarterback in college football. Give my guy a few games to get his feet underneath him in the SEC, all right? Like let's not just wave the white flag already because we've seen a few throws we don't love or maybe make us feel not too good. Nico's going to be fine. Now, what does fine look like? Does that mean he wins the Heisman Trophy, or does that mean that he's a really serviceable starter in the SEC? I don't know. But I have to believe that the floor this guy has is extremely high. But going back to what I said, if I'm Kentucky, like I definitely make sure that I still force him to prove it. Now, what does prove it mean? Can you stop the run, right? Like, because if you can't stop Dylan Sampson from being the walking 100-yard game that he is, Deion Walker looking right at you, brother, then like this game is going to be very miserable for everyone watching it on television because they'll say, why are we watching this football game? And for all the folks in Lexington because they'll be like, wow, what is going on over here? So that's kind of where I fall on this whole thing. Even if you can stop the run, the numbers say there's going to be plays downfield for Tennessee. Kentucky's allowing 9 yards a pass. That is, once again, bad for 118th in America. So if you were thinking about, kind of a risk for the basic situation, you better hope Nico somehow, some way is off. And the thing for me is the Alabama game, at the end of it, the throws that he made, the deep shot to Thornton, the drop in a bucket to Brazel. I just think that those moments are moments that can really buoy a young quarterback's confidence. Like, it's great to do it in practice, and I'll say this, we saw him do it multiple times in practice when we were out there for spring football. But to do it in a game on the third Saturday, to me, that's kind of the allowance, if you will, to say, okay, like, hey, I can do this. I can do this. And maybe you breathe a little bit easier when that next deep ball becomes open. Maybe that muscle memory kicks in a little bit more. At the end of the day, like I want to see Nico Iamaleava play like the quarterback that took down Alabama at the crib. Have that swag, have that moxie. Play like the quarterback that's rumored to have an $8 million NIL deal. I want to see that Nico out there in this game in the dark uniforms. So at the end of the day, what I was saying, the safety net for me is just too high for Tennessee. Even if you are able to force Nico out of rhythm, they can still run the football. I don't know where the offense is coming from for Kentucky. I have not seen anything to inspire confidence. The Georgia game for Kentucky feels like a distant memory, and oh, by the way, you're on the road here. So I think Tennessee wins. I also think Tennessee covers in the black uniforms, which are sweet, by the way. Very, very sweet. New add to the program. That's our friends over at JLab, man. They're doing great work, and this is fun, too. If you watch college football on Saturdays, and if you're watching this show, it's a dumb thing to even say out loud, you watch ball. But you see a lot of JLab commercials here. So they're kind of getting into the college football space. I'll just say this. For all of us, man, it's time to upgrade the audio game, right? It's time. It's time. Now, I know a lot of you have a pair of headphones that you like, and maybe they're a little bit worn down. Maybe you're tired of losing an earbud and paying $100 every time you have to replace one earbud. JLab, they're the answer. They are the answer for every single activity you want to do throughout your daily life. So if you're a gritty grinder and you're getting after it right now, getting ready for summer already next year, or I guess next year. That's crazy to say out loud. JLab recommends the JBud Sport ANC4, offering a secure fit and super long battery life for those tough workouts. For travel, you got the JBuds Luxe over-ear headphones. Nice for your flights, nice for your your long bus rides, whatever you're doing. JBuds has got you covered, or JLab has got you covered with those JBuds. So discover your perfect pair of headphones. Look for the JLab Blue Box at retailers everywhere, or visit JLab.com.